welcome to On the Way Moments, a podcast from St. Anthony on the Desert Episcopal Church here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. On this podcast, we hear stories from some very interesting people and on the way moments that they have experienced. I'm Will.
I'm Jill.
And we are your hosts today.
And today we have a very, very special person to the both of us on board, and it's Spencer Cihak.
He's right there.
And he's right there. And we're just so anxious to hear Spencer's story and to hear what he's been up to lately. So welcome, Spencer.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
You bet.
To be the first Zoom host or guest, right?
First Zoom guest. Yeah, we've not done this. So, and you're far away, so we can't have you here in our studio, but we'll get to that, our studio that we've created.
No, it looks great.
You may have looked at it familiar as a vesting room when you were here, but it's our studio. So,
Yes.
So Spencer, why don't you give us a little bit about your background?
Well, I grew up just a few blocks away from St. Anthony in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was at church every Sunday, practically. Yeah.
Okay.
Went to the high school a couple blocks away. I'm at ASU now. Well, currently in Tennessee, but I'm at ASU during the spring and the fall. Yeah.
Awesome. And what are you studying at ASU?
I'm a sports journalism major.
Whoa. And what does that mean?
Yeah.
That means I get to talk about sports and just everything involved with it, the good parts, the bad parts, everything. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun and maybe doesn't have the drag you would say with normal news.
Okay.
Well, good.
So what is your favorite sport?
I definitely will have to say baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah. So you do commentating at ASU?
I do. I've done some, both on Pac-12 Plus and on the student station Blaze Radio. I'm also now out in Tennessee doing play-by-play commentary for the Elizabethton River Riders. That's exactly Elizabethton. It's in East Tennessee. It's no longer rookie ball. It's now the college affiliate of Major League Baseball. So what they do is they'll take the top 400 freshmen and sophomores from across the country and put them in one league for a summer ball tournament. The idea was that you would get more of a streamline of guys that are expected to make it to high levels of baseball versus rookie ball. When I was here in 2019, there was nobody on that team that I was covering that's going to make it to the majors.
Okay.
Just how it works, it's there though, so that, that top rated guy coming out of the draft, gets the opportunity to go play, and then you end up playing against 20 guys, that are good at baseball, better than I will ever be at baseball. I want to specify that here. I'm not saying they are bad at baseball, but they won't make it to that major league level.
Okay.
So are they all in one area, or how does that work?
The way that it's broken up is that there's two divisions, 10 teams overall. In the West Division, the furthest team is Bristol, and they are 22 miles away.
Okay.
And that is in Bristol, Virginia. They're the state liners. They historically were actually the Pirates for the past few seasons in rookie ball. But before that, they were the state liners. They got to go back to their old name. The cool part about this new configuration is a lot of teams now get to come up with their own names for their cities, which I think is really cool. They actually have the ability, instead of being, we were just in Burlington, instead of being the Burlington Royals, which is a team that's affiliated with another city, they now get to own their city and be the sock puppets. Which is, yeah.
It's owning your team. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how long are you going to be in Tennessee?
I'm there hopefully until August 10th with the championship game for the team. But if not, I'll be done August 7th.
Okay.
So, right now, though, the team is 11-10. They're really hot. They went 5-1 on their longest road trip of the season. Wow. They look really good overall. There's actually a couple of Arizona locals on that team too, which has been fun to get to talk to them about the area. Thinking I would come out here and not know anybody or really anything about where everybody else is from. So to have a couple of local guys has been pretty cool.
That's cool. Now, do you cover one team or do you cover like several, or did I miss that?
I'm just with the River Riders.
Okay, nice, awesome.
Yeah. So where are you living?
I'm at off-campus housing here
Okay.
at ETSU, Eastern Tennessee State University. I think ETSU, regardless.
Yes, you.
Yeah, it's a fun little dorm area. I got the AirPods ready in case any of the roommates decide to start making some noise. Don't worry. I have 4 roommates. One of them actually is with one of the other teams. He's doing stadium operations,
Wow.
which is another internship within the organization. But he's with Kingsport, which is a different team.
Okay. Now, will this internship, could this lead to something? I mean, obviously looks great on your resume, but what does this funnel into anything?
So this kind of goes back to high school.
Okay.
So sophomore year of high school, a teacher by the name Steve Gross comes in along with a old student named Joy Libatori. He comes in, and he's talking about, hey, there's this radio program at the East Valley Institute of Technology. It's a really great opportunity. From that, I got to intern with the Chicago Cubs, which I got to do. And then from there, he told us about this opportunity here. Joey, in that following year, got to go out and be a play-by-play broadcaster for a low-A single ball team out in the South. I can't remember where. I think they're the Pelicans, which I think it's the Charleston Pelicans. Yes,
Okay.
That's where they're at right now. That's a low-A affiliate of, I believe, the Rays. From there, though, he got hired to be the radio operations. He's in charge of the entire scene for the Oakland Athletics because they started up their own radio station. Because what's happening in sports right now is kind of a cool thing. And I think with the recovery from the pandemic, it's only going to really expand everything. Is that what you're starting to see here, and you see it in the major markets? New York has done this for a while, where they have their own TV station now. Yes Network is Yankee Entertainment Station, I think is the official letters for it. And the Cubs with Marquee, they're doing that. So you're starting to see teams now produce their own media and content at a level that hasn't been done before.
Okay.
Which was all started because of what Major League Baseball has done back in the early 2000s with MLB.com and having team reporters now that also cover the teams, but they're also owned by the teams. They're also working for them directly, which is different than, let's say, the Arizona Republic going out and covering the Diamondbacks.
Right.
Between that and then the guy that had my old job actually is a AA broadcaster in Arkansas for the Royals affiliate.
Wow.
With Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be a guy you hear about in the next couple of years. Big prospect coming out of that system there. And then he was in Australia the past couple of falls and winters doing play-by-play broadcasting out there. And Australia is the largest growing, I should say. Grammar journalism student, the largest baseball market right now. So there's a lot of cool tree branches from here in the Appy League.
That's awesome. So when does school start for you again?
School starts, I believe, the 17th is my boot camp for Cronkite News. In the fall, I'll be working for Cronkite News. It's part of a professional program class credit that I need, where I'll be covering news for the entire semester for Arizona PBS Cronkite News. It's on, I believe, every day at 5:30 Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So this is a television station, right?
Yes, this is Channel 8 on everybody's
Channel 8 here.
Channel 8 here.
So we're going to be able to watch you
That's awesome.
on television.
Yeah.
Will you be covering the sports then, or just the regular?
I will not be. I'm going to try to cover more athlete type stories.
Okay.
No, very inspirational stuff. I chose to do. There was opportunities to do sports. I'll be doing those in the spring, where I think there's more with baseball available. With spring training being in town and everything there. But I think it's going to help teach me how to do stories that are a bit more serious. That's good to know, because there are serious moments in sports. So being able to cover that for an entire semester, maybe get to do some more inspirational type stories as well, I think is going to be a really great opportunity too.
That's cool.
Yeah, so will you be writing the copy?
I'll be writing copy. I've been writing copy so far throughout this entire my entire schooling.
Uh,
You don't get all the fancy writers for you until you get
Not yet.
Not yet. You'll get there.
pretty big. Yeah, it takes a lot. That is the one thing about journalism too that's evolving, is that now everybody kind of has to know how to do everything, which is different. If you want to be successful, I'm going out, I'm shooting video for the story. I'm then doing the interviews for the story. I'm doing the voiceover for it. I'm doing every aspect, every component you can think of, the graphics for it. You kind of have to know how to do it all if you want to go far.
Wow. Wow. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So are they teaching all of this in the Cronkite school, or are you just learning this as you go, or?
It's a little bit of both. Lot of a cool thing I think about Cronkite, and I think this is why I'm doing so well in school now and I didn't in high school, is because it's a lot more. We're gonna send you out to cover this high school team, which is something I had to do the past couple of semesters now in my classes. We're gonna have you focus on a high school football team, baseball team, volleyball team. You're gonna cover stories. Not everything you're gonna do is gonna be great. You probably are gonna mess up a few times, and I did. But that's just part of the experience, is being able to fail, still not getting your grade punished for it, but then learning how to do it from that point on.
Absolutely.
We know about that.
My life motto is fake it till you make it. I mean,
There's a lot of that in sports journalism.
absolutely. Yeah.
All the best opportunities I've heard about from people have come from them saying, well, I said I knew how to run this piece of equipment. I had no idea, but I got the job, and now I'm
Started
here.
pushing buttons and it worked.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you talk about that. I had this conversation with a friend yesterday about, in the world of sports, we see these people as entertainers for us. We get to watch, and this is great, and they do a great job. And I like when you were talking about, these people and their stories, because a lot of it, we don't get to hear their stories. And to me, that's one of the best parts about the sports, is getting to, what brought them to where they're at. And you talked about, the inspirational side of all that. And so, we have to remember that the sports, these figures are human beings, and they have this platform, and they get to share it. And so it's just really cool that you even touched on that a little bit. So that's just a side note.
Yeah, kind of like what we try to do here.
Yeah.
You're not just a guy that we know.
Right.
You have a story, and we want to hear about it. We want to talk about it and see where you go with it. And
Thank you.
that's what makes life interesting.
Right.
It really is. And this is the first time I've gotten to speak with athletes on a very, very professional level, press conferences, official meet and greets after, kind of, they have to be there. Now with the Appy League here, I'm seeing these guys every day. I'm learning things about them. And I always hear about how kind of the journalists and athletes are friends. They are at the end of the day. You'd be surprised. That's why a lot of athletes, I think, eventually get into doing broadcasting themselves, is because the good ones at it. And I do think there are actually a couple on the team that would make pretty good broadcasters when their playing career is done, is just because they'll listen and they'll respond well, which makes it a pretty cool situation to get to learn these people on a different level.
Right.
And it goes both. I mean, it's vice versa, because they get to know you too and what you do. And like you said, you become friends. So kind of thinking about that, if you had, if you were to look 20 years down the road, what do you hope for your life?
How about 5?
How about 5 years? Right? Retired.
Well, yes. Dogecoin to the moon, but
right? Sports on the moon.
Yeah. Oh, well, 5 years from the crazy thing about journalism. Really, I mean, I had this planned out from high school, which I think I'm very fortunate about. I don't think a lot of people in high school, they don't know what they want to do.
Right.
And then they go to school, they still don't know what they want to do. And they I'm going to use this as an example, wild example. They major in banking. And next thing you know, 5 years down from that major, they own a bakery shop in the middle of.
At least they know money.
You know what I mean? But it's that type of thing. Yeah. Where I got very lucky to where what I've done and what I'm doing, there hasn't been any speed bumps yet.
Yeah.
So outside of the pandemic, pushing this back a year, which honestly was for the best.
Okay.
I'm not sure. The technical side of the industry is a really cool one, and there's a lot of really cool opportunities there. And the really crazy thing about it is that it kind of parlays back into the entertainment industry as a whole, because the guys that do NBA on TNT that run those studio shows, it's basically like running Oprah. You know what I mean? But like it's the exact same type of thing. You have somebody sitting there talking. There's a guest on.
Yeah.
And it's knowing how to run that type of show. So I could always end up, I go into the technical side of things. Next thing you know, I'm a PA on Jimmy Kimmel. Like that could happen. I could also be going to Australia, which is something that I'm fascinated by. There's also opportunities in, Japan, Singapore, all these crazy places that could take me to those places, or just be here. There could be some cool opportunities within the valley. It kind of comes down to what's available when I'm done. I think I'm going to be graduating a year early too. I might be done with school in the spring here. We'll see. There may be a master's opportunity there.
Wow.
But overall, I'm kind of ramping down school, and between that and the random opportunities that come out of this job too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try not to get. I would love to be doing professional play-by-play for some team somewhere on a major market, not Elizabethton, Tennessee. I love this area. Don't get me wrong. The people have been great.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun being out here. The food's been pretty good. But the coming from one of a top 10 city in America, and having there being 4 sports teams and all this craziness, to a place where it's pretty quiet. It's a little bit different, and it's a good experience. But that's my main goal. I want to be in a place that's loud. I don't know where that is.
I like that.
But
I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So the pandemic, the year in at the university, obviously didn't slow down your studies if you're going to be getting out a year early, graduating a year early.
it didn't. It kind of did the reverse. I kind of stepped on the gas in the fall. I had 3 jobs and I was taking 15 credits.
Wow.
And then I pared down to 2 jobs in the spring with 23 credits.
That's paring down.
I don't know how seriously you guys take yoga as a credit. If you don't, just 22.
So what's your favorite pose?
Yeah, right.
Oh man, my goal for the year was to touch my toes, and I'd like to do that.
And did
Help me out, due to the insanity that is pseudo minor league baseball out here in Tennessee. I've maybe regressed a little bit, but
Just a little bit.
a little bit. But you know what? I have a yoga mat now, which I didn't.
There you go.
do you have yoga pants?
I just had to use the running short. I looked really nerdy out there. I had a water situation.
Oh,
That's funny.
good for you.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
for you. So how do you see this last year unfolding at ASU?
It's going to be a wild one. I have significantly less classes due to 23.
Right.
My nemesis, though, foreign languages. I still have one more semester of that, so that's going to be a tricky one.
What's the language?
It's Spanish now. I took French in high school. I can't do this in college. I'm trying Spanish here to.
All right.
I've gotten 3 credits out of the way. I haven't had to repeat a class. That's
There
the
you
other
go.
really lucky thing, is there hasn't been any class repeats. But those 2, and just kind of getting some classes. I could take a boatload of electives, and have some
Yeah.
fun and check out. Like I am taking a newscast production class. So not only will I be helping, not taking the class, I should say, on Mondays and Wednesdays and being on air. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be behind the scenes.
Okay.
Those types of classes and those types of things. I'm doing a play-by-play class with Gary Thorne, who's the play-by-play broadcaster of the Baltimore Orioles. That's my one Zoom class. That's the other really awesome thing about these upcoming semesters here, and what might actually slow me down a bit. Zoom classes are awesome because I can sit there, and I'm going to be on. Not every class is the most important to listen to in journalism. I'll be real. There was a class about lighting that we were given diagrams, and I went, well, this is the class. And then the teacher spent the next 45 minutes talking about lighting. And in that time, I wrote some of my articles. I was interning with Sports Illustrated in the fall. That's where that kind of came into play. I was doing that. I was working with the Arizona Interscholastic Athletic Association there, which is the AIA, which runs all the sports. I was engineering football games for them, which was taking away from my Friday nights at ASU. Boy, good experience overall there. And then I had a Monday and Friday radio show at the East Valley Institute of Technology. EVIT, they needed a board operator, and the guys there were really cool, and they let me talk on air too. So that was a cool experience there. And these guys were incredibly well networked. Like, it was crazy the people they were having on too. So I have all these now new contacts in my phone, which was really cool. So it's going to be a lot of, well, how does this work now? I'm back on campus too. I was on off-campus housing.
Okay.
How does all of this work into having to walk to class, be there on time? I no longer have the opportunity to sit there. I'm not doing this here. I could be writing an email while being in class on Zoom, I'm just saying it's those types of things. And it's those types of things. I just had to prove there.
God, I promise.
I'm not working. This is my day off. I swear. I'm not. But it's those types of things now where I had a rhythm this past year. It maybe wasn't the best in terms of working and then not working, but it was a rhythm that got me really ahead. So now with being back in person, going to classes, it's going to be kind of cool to see, okay, what was college supposed to be like here?
What is the new rhythm that you're creating, for sure?
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, Will and I have really benefited from your schooling, as you were one of the first people we talked to about setting up our podcast.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all the encouragement that you gave us, because we knew what a podcast was.
But that was it.
That was it.
I was happy to help. And it's great. Thank you guys for having me on too here today.
No.
It means a lot.
We're very excited. I'm so glad that we could get a good time that worked out for you.
Yeah.
So
and I'm glad I didn't have a tennis match go an hour long.
I know, and Wimbledon is calling. So.
Yeah.
Right down the road for you. So So one of the questions, Spencer, we do ask all of our guests is to share a memorable on-the-way moment, an experience that may have seemed small at the time, but kind of shifted your path, maybe. So,
on the way moment, definitely what I talked about earlier. I think with Steve and Joy Liberatore coming into the class, talking, that has put me on pace now for something incredible, which I wouldn't have had. I think really, and this summer has been the summer of me doing this, is getting good at calling on the phone. I know that should have been last year during the pandemic. I know. I had this whole year to learn how to talk to people on the phone, but no, I've been out here now by myself for 3 weeks now, and I've gotten really good at texting my friends, checking in on them, calling my parents, calling my other relatives, I think being good at that and getting to talk to them more has put me in a better place to work here, which I think is really cool. It's small, but it's definitely made a big difference so far, I think.
No, well, put us on your speed dial.
Yeah, come on.
Gotcha.
We
need to know.
Yeah.
We definitely want to hear.
Yeah.
And Spencer, you have your own podcast.
I do. It's called First to Home. It's a baseball podcast. We're currently in hiatus due to the fact that half of us on the cast are actually working in some form of baseball, and the other half is doing a lot of really cool writing internships. So there's between the four of us, we're trying to find a time, but I'm working from the ballpark, and I'm what's holding everybody up. It's my fault if they hear this, because I'm gonna blast this out when I get this.
Yes.
It's my fault because I'm going to the ballpark at 9 and I'm leaving around 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Tuesday through Sunday.
Well, we won't let them know that you squeezed us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll say we did this. Yeah, it was so planned.
Yeah.
This was back when I was at home. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
My Iron Man background here.
Just don't listen to anything we just said, then.
For sure.
So yeah, just real quick, you said your podcast. Where can they find it?
They can find it on all streaming platforms. It took us a year to get there, and a couple new partners in the cast, but some much smarter people than me figured out how to get it on Apple and Spotify. We had it up on SoundCloud. It's always there. Perfect. YouTube, everywhere. So just wherever you want to look up First at Home, it's there.
First at Home, everybody. Check it out.
First at Home. I'll put it down in the show notes.
That's right.
So people can find you when you kick back up again.
That's right.
So,
yeah, that should be soon. I'm going to have some off days here.
That's awesome. After they've found us.
Yes.
We'll
of course. Yes.
Find us and then go check out Spencer. That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wonderful. That's it for us today, Spencer. Again, thank you so much. Everybody, if you liked the episode, give us a thumbs up. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast. You're literally everywhere. Be on the lookout for your on the way moments. And again, Spencer, thank you so much for coming out today.
Take care.
Thank you guys for having me. This has been a lot of fun.